Now, I don't know if you've ever had the pleasure of an on-fire butthole before, but let me tell you, it's not as fun as it sounds.
Burning bottoms, Yahtzee cups, and pedestrian versus car, who will win? Today we are back at it, breaking down and reacting to all of the hilarious and crappy cartoon real-life medical experiences from Brewstew. Alright, let's dive right in.
First time that I got food poisoning. I ate a very delicious, but very tainted beef and cheddar sandwich from Arby's. And this naturally gave me a very bad case of the poops several hours later. Now, what do I mean by a very bad case of the poops? Well, if you've ever read the classic Aesop's fable, The Boy Who Cried, I got a and I got a right now, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Most of the time, anybody who is having bad diarrhea will say, oh, I got food poisoning. Yes, it could be related to food and different microorganisms that could cause that, but I also think of other things that could do it. Like influenza literally can give you the similar symptoms of food poisoning. The very much concern about this is finding out the cause, making sure it is just limited based on symptoms in the sense of it'll go away on its own. It's called self-limiting.
You see, what would happen for the next day and a half was that my stomach would be all like, and then I'd have precisely 14 seconds to find the nearest toilet before my hole fell out in a river.
That's the worst. If you gotta go, you gotta go. Tighten that up, pucker as hard as you can. Make sure you don't poop your pants. Don't fart, because then you might actually shart yourself and it burns, it's uncomfortable, and then you're also going so often that you're using so much toilet paper, you're rubbing your buttocks raw. I always suggest to people using some sort of butt wipe, something more soothing if you're in this situation. You also increase your risk of getting hemorrhoids if you're going this much as well.
As soon as I reached the toilet, instead of out a cascade of ickiness, all I could muster out would be like half a turd at the most.
Yep.
Oh, what the f? That was it? And this would repeat, oh, I don't know, every 20 minutes or so.
Awful.
Just over and over again. You know, stomach, bathroom sprint. Ah! They're probably gonna want to make me poop in a cup so they can analyze it. And that's pretty weird if you ask me. What do I gotta do it in the office while the doctor's making eye contact with me?
In the emergency department, we'll actually ask for a stool sample, but we're not going to make you poop in a cup. They're actually these toilets that we can actually collect a sample in. It helps with knowing what the pathogen is, but most of the time it's self-limiting and will go away on its own.
Or do I do it at home in a Yahtzee shaker?
Please put a lid on this, put this in a plastic bag in case it falls. Yahtzee!
Just bring it in Monday morning like, hey, here you go. Here's a little bit of me that you can test or put under a microscope or whatever do with it.
We will take a sample of it, we'll put it on petri dishes so it can grow. They'll look at maybe potentially under a microscope after they dilute it down. We'll also test for parasites. We'll also look for white blood cells, red blood cells.
Hey, you guys like my sweet Richard Nixon skateboard? Michael, where the hell did you get that thing? My stepdad said he found it in the river. Come on, you guys, let's go to Tom's Donuts. Now, Tom's Donuts was this little donut shop around the corner, and we like to scooter around in their parking lot. Check it out, guys. I can do a kickflip.
Nice. You got a skateboard, everybody else got a scooter. Who out there has got one of those like razor scooters? I do see people come to the ER on them, sometimes even having accidents via them. Oh!
I go to make the jump, and my front wheel nicks the top of the barrier, and I soar through the air like a goddamn superhero. I land in the middle of the street and damn near snap my clavicle in half.
Most of the time you deal with road rash, abrasions, maybe some lacerations. You can crack your head on the concrete, it could cause a fracture, internal bleeding. Not a good situation.
Some lady driving an Oldsmobile has to slam on her brakes. God damn you kids and your midget scooters!
I mean, it is funny, like you're getting yelled at and you're injured. Make sure you're wearing a helmet, make sure you're wearing clothes that cover all areas of your body, just to minimize like what potentially could happen.
Or they're trying to apologize, but in the process, I bit my tongue so damn hard, you can barely understand my I'm sorry! I'm sorry I almost made you murder me with your Oldsmobile!
I've seen people with tongue bites that have bitten off like half their tongue. They bleed a ton. We actually don't sew them back together. They will heal really, really fast. But if there's a massive defect, we'll help try to suture it back together.
Well, it's safe to say that kid's not the Tony Hawk of mini scooters. Yeah, I'd say more like the Tony Hawk of eating. At this point, my ass can barely walk since I just myself up 6 different ways. I have to use Michael's 1970 skateboard as a ambulance back to my house. Holy hell, are you okay? Do you need mouth to mouth?
Mouth to mouth is not actually used very often. Typically, if somebody is in cardiac arrest and you need to do CPR, you identify if the patient is not breathing and does not have a pulse, then you do hands-only CPR. Now, if there is medical personnel on scene, yes, obviously we're not doing exact mouth-to-mouth, we use a BVM, which is a bag valve mask, where you put a mask on somebody and you breathe for them.
One chip challenge. And for those of you that don't know what the one chip challenge is,
no.
well, it's a single tortilla chip that's supposed to be the spiciest, most hottest tortilla chip in the world.
I think it's the Carolina Reaper and the Scorpion Pepper. What?
Now, I didn't know anything about it until my wife brought it home from the store one day. So like 15 seconds go by, and I have no heat whatsoever. I start thinking, maybe I got a dud. Maybe it's expired. Did I wait too long? What the hell happened?
That literally happens when people here in California, where it's legal, will do edible, say, marijuana. They'll literally wait, don't feel anything, and take more, and that's how they end up in the emergency department seeing me, because now they've taken too much.
And just when I thought that...
Oh God, I can't breathe.
Now, thankfully, the heat only lasts for about 15 minutes or so. What I found out is that the heat doesn't go away, it just moves on down to your stomach.
Awful.
So now it feels like this goddamn chip is just hanging out down there, melting my insides with a hairdryer. Well, now how am I gonna solve this conundrum? Well, I'll tell you what I did. I ate an ice cream cone. Seemed like a good idea at the time.
Actually, okay, I would do the same thing. Something's hot, you want something cold and basic. You know, people use milk, right, as a neutralizing agent.
It seemed like that ice cream cone would go down there and start beating that chip's and that seemed to be the case until my stomach was like... Yeah, apparently that ice cream cone wasn't beating the chip's it was playing patty cake with it instead. Now all of a sudden I get these stomach pains out of nowhere, and they are debilitating.
Just be careful what you're ingesting in your body.
Because at this point, the chip transfers over to my intestines, and my intestines were like, no thank you, you can go yourself with that, and promptly sends it right to my hole.
This is actually a really good graphic because it shows that your stomach's actually really high up, and then you have your large intestine, small intestine, which are more going down lower towards your belly button.
Now, I don't know if you've ever had the pleasure of an on-fire butthole before, but let me tell you, it's not as fun as it sounds. It sounds like there's 14 people taking a once in there. Are you all right? Should I call the cops? The whole time I'm sitting there, all I can think about is, oh, that's why they put the chip in a coffin, because the coffin is for your hole afterwards. Now I get it.
Most people will feel that way. It's not good. It's potentially dangerous. Could have caused bleeding, maybe.
Growing up, my cousin David, he had a chemistry set. And for the record, he did have normal toys too. He didn't just have a bunch of toys from the Great Depression. Hey, you guys want to play with my Tinker toys?
Oh, that's so sad because I had Tinker toys growing up.
Can't even pronounce the names, half the chemicals we're using. Potassium pomegranate. Potassium pomegranate, yeah.
Potassium
that sounds pretty
pomegranate,
tasty.
okay.
Gulp, gulp, gulp.
Okay.
So we decided to do what any kids would do, and we mixed all the chemicals together in one beaker. I'm not sure what we were trying to accomplish.
Don't drink chemicals in a chemistry set, and don't mix them together. Read the warnings to make sure that there are no chemical reactions that potentially occur.
We're about to find a cure for cancer with this $12 chemistry set. No, we sure as hell didn't make that. But what we did make was the color blue. Ooh, fancy. We're breaking some new ground here.
I wonder if they're just labeled some sort of chemical, but really benign, and they're just food coloring to make them color, and see what experiment would happen if you mix different colors together.
Somebody publish us in a scientific journal. Ladies and gentlemen, I've gathered you all here today to announce that at our state-of-the-art laboratory, also known as David's bedroom, we have figured out how to create the color blue. Oh my God, they're geniuses! Somebody get them a medal! So there we are, standing there with our blue concoction. We're not really sure what to do with it. Maybe if we drink it, we could turn into an X-Men. Yeah, or maybe we'll get diarrhea for a week. Not really something I want to gamble on.
Mixing things together, you have to be really careful. These things do happen at the hospital, and we have pharmacists there that help confirm what you can and can't give. If they're compatible in the same IV tubing, do you need specific IV tubing with this one medication versus another? I love Brewstew. He always has hilarious medical stories that have happened to him. Do you guys have any hilarious medical stories that you want to share with me, that you want me to discuss or read on the channel? If you enjoyed this, definitely check out this playlist right here. Binge watch everything. Make sure you subscribe and turn your bell notifications on and hit that like button for me. And I appreciate you watching the channel. So thank you so much for watching, and stay healthy, my friends.